crap in the bag.
Hey, Max. Hey, Max. Ready to work on this VCR? You know, I'm just not feeling up to working on a VCR today. Well, if you don't want to work on a VCR, what do you want to do, Max? You know what I want to do? I want to watch some movies. Hey, you know what? I got an idea. You want to watch Antitrust? No, not Antitrust, you fool. What about Antitrust? No, not Antitrust, you fool. This one will get you kicking. Antitrust in French. No, not the French version of Antitrust. What about Antitrust on DVD? No, I don't want to watch Antitrust on DVD. Antitrust movie trailer on 35mm. The Antitrust movie trailer on 35mm? Doesn't sound half bad. No, don't trick me with your games. Not even that. Well, hot dog, what do you want to watch? You know what? Heck with it. Let's watch all the National Lampoon movies. Well, if you want to watch all the National Lampoon movies, I got... How embarrassing. Just like National Lampoon.
From the people who brought you National Lampoon's Animal House, Vacation, Van Wilder, and 30 movies you can't remember.
Hello! Welcome to the National Lampoon's review. This is a long time coming. I think I made the original video, or I had the idea in March. Hello? Hello! Welcome to the National Lampoon's review. Well, frankly, there was more than I thought. And I now own garbage, frankly. And, you know, am I happy with what I've done? Kinda. Because now I get to experience. I got to do a history lesson of all these movies, the history of National Lampoons. So a part of me enjoyed myself. That was like 2% of myself. 98% of myself despised every single second of this. So do I recommend watching these movies? No. Some of them, yes. But we'll get to that later. Hello everybody, welcome to the 200th video. It's incredible that we've made it this far. And honestly, for the 300th video, I don't think I'm going to do another movie review. I think I'm just going to make a movie, because I'm tired of watching movies. Anyways, today we got something a little special. I'm going to be watching all the National Lampoon movies. So, let's get started. The history of National Lampoons is just wild, but I'm not going to go into that today. No. Today, I'm going to be reviewing every National Lampoon's movie. I started this several months ago, took many breaks, and honestly, at the bottom of my heart, spent way more money than I should have on C-rated movies. I made a part 1 to this review earlier in the year, but that's just discussing some things about what I can and can't watch, so if you're interested, go back to that video if you're curious. Speaking of, I broke a lot of what I said in that video, but I'll go into that when the time comes. Finally, I do want to make a third-parter to the National Lampoon's extravaganza, as doing research for a lot of these movies, I found out that there's a lot of lost media and just very rare movies and short films that have just been lost to time. So I'd like to cover that, just not anytime soon. And eventually I will watch the strip poker videos, the National Lampoon's strip poker, but that'll be in another video as well. Anyways, I now welcome the National Lampoon review, going from the very first movie to the very last movie. Let's begin. Lemmings. This was pretty decent, actually. The music was good, but the main thing I enjoyed seeing was Chevy Chase, Christopher Guest, and of course, John Belushi. Anything with Johnny Boy and Chevy results in some good laughs. Despite the music being good, the show itself wasn't that entertaining. 2 out of 5. Disco Beaver from Outer Space. It really just dragged on and on with just no true payoff to the jokes. I don't think I laughed once. Actually, I lied. I enjoyed like 3 seconds of the Dracula segment, but then it just got repetitive. 1 out of 5. Animal House. This one definitely holds up as a classic comedy. I remember seeing it many years ago, but I needed to rewatch it for sure. Even though it's National Lampoon's second movie, and it is still very good, I don't think I can give it the same praise that other people have. Side note, this VHS copy has a really funky disc that I've never heard of before buying the VHS tape. That's all I have to say about it. It's just kind of cool. 3.5 out of 5. Class Reunion. You know that one movie that everybody hates? It has terrible reviews, yet you still love it? This was that. I was honestly dying at some of the jokes in this movie. The middle was really dull, but the beginning and the end were especially good. I guarantee I probably won't find it funny if I watch it again, but for the first time, I enjoyed it. And Chuck Berry makes a cameo in it. 3.5 out of 5. Movie madness. Look up the definition of boring, pointless, and empty. The example of each word should and will list this movie. The only parts I liked were seeing Henry Youngman and Christopher Lloyd.
With drama. You can't touch me, coppers! I got a lawyer!
I was sitting through the credits, about to write this review, just thinking about how bad this movie was. I look up for a split second that Donny Boy himself sang the song. I don't know why he made a song specifically for this dumpster fire, but it shocked me for sure. 1 out of 5. Vacation. Alright, who hasn't seen this movie? I've seen this at least 100 times already. I won't go that deep into it, but basically, it's in my top 10 favorite movies of all time. 5 out of 5. Joy of Sex. This is the movie that National Lampoon's, at the time, didn't want to have their brand name on it, and it shows. Incredibly boring, it's just high school sex. Christopher Lloyd and Ernie Hudson are in it, but they aren't in it that much to make it worth watching. 2 out of 5. OC and Stiggs. This one was less of a comedy and more of a, well, I'm not sure what it was, but it was mediocre, if anything. Dennis Hopper was there, but other than that, it was forgettable. 2 out of 5. European Vacation. I used to not like this movie as much, but after seeing it a couple more times, it actually is a very funny movie. It isn't as good as the first or third movie, but it definitely deserves a watch. 3.5 out of 5. Class of 86. This was better than I thought it would be. The music was really good, and it had Roger Bumpus. Yes, the voice actor for Squidward.
You, instead of talking like me, I have to talk like you. Oh, sheesh, this is stupid.
Sure is.
Aha!
What?
See? You're not talking like me.
I'm not?
No, you're talking like, me.
This mean I'm, cured, then?
Well, yeah, kind of.
Well, if I'm cured and you're talking like me, then, you must have my disease, and, Oh, no, that's impossible. Oh, no, it's not.
He was honestly really good. It had some flaws, but it was still a very good show.
It's a good show!
3 out of 5. Christmas Vacation. Alright, who hasn't seen this movie? I've seen it at least 100... Alright, long story short, it's one of my favorite Christmas movies. 5 out of 5. Loaded Weapon 1. Oh, God. This movie. Everyone should watch this movie. That is... It's bloody good. I remember seeing this on a road trip once, but besides that, I remember it being pretty funny. Does it hold up? It drags a lot. But the cameos and some of the gags are just hilarious. But, truthfully, just watch Naked Gun for this type of humor. Also, side note, I have this exact same hairdryer. Actually, I have 2 of the same hairdryer.
What's up with the hairdryer? Oh, this, it's my wife's.
3.5 out of 5. Attack of the 5'2" Woman. This movie amazes me more than anything. So, I don't usually like to do research before I watch a movie. I like to wait until the end to avoid spoilers and all that. First of all, I saw the end in the movie, and I was so happy because I thought, man, that movie went by really fast. No. This is a duology anthology movie, and I was just so upset. Secondly, these are based on true stories. Yeah, really. And lastly, I'm just barely paying attention. I was about to tap out, and then I heard a familiar voice. It's him. There he is.
Your real knife? Now it's rubber.
I said I wanted a real knife. There's no point in shooting this if it's not a real knife.
Right.
It's Tom Kenny himself. I was shocked. I'm not sure why there's a trend with putting VAs from SpongeBob and National Lampoon movies. Oh yeah, and the movie itself wasn't very good. 1 out of 5. Last Resort. A movie about some dudes going on a vacation, pretending to be lifeguards, Marines, and the CIA. Fully out of place cartoon sound effects, and it wasn't very entertaining. I will say the theme song for the movie is pretty good. 1.5 out of 5. Senior Trip. Ah, yes. Jeremy Renner's first movie. Yeah. What else do I have to say? Tara Strong is in it? I don't know. Like, it was entertaining, but it wasn't funny at all. 2 out of 5. Favorite Deadly Sins. So this is a short film compilation. I can't really tell you about the first short film. It sucked. But you're not going to believe this. The second short film was absolutely fantastic. I recommend watching it. It's not perfect by any means, but it has Joe Schmo from Criminal Minds and a cameo from Conan.
The victim here.
Your refrigerator's the victim here.
It's so corny and dumb, but it's just great. And then the third one wasn't as good, but it has this really dumb jock character that's just hilarious.
Anger. I just need some damn fun!
If it wasn't for the first skit and some of the really freakishly slow parts, I'd maybe give it a 3.5 out of 5, but I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. Men in White. It's just Men in Black, but garbage men. But with Tom Wilson, George Kennedy, and even Barry Bostwick himself are all in this movie. I'd like to say they helped this movie from being total trash, but even they didn't save it. At least with the other movies, it's not just cheap sex jokes. That's the best I can say about it. 2 out of 5. Dad's Week Off. This isn't really a comedy, but it was more of a lighthearted movie about a guy realizing what and why he values the things he does. It even stars the Fonz. Lastly, I just want to point out this was another promotional tape, so this popped up every once in a while. Arrest me now, officers. 2.5 out of 5. Vegas Vacation. I've seen this many times, but despite it being memorable, it can be boring at times, and many of the jokes just aren't funny. It is a good movie, however, just not as good as the first 3. 3 out of 5. Dons Analyst. I feel like this could be a really good concept, but it just didn't work at all. It suffers from a slow-paced plot, and honestly, it's missing the gabagoo. 2 out of 5. Golf Punks. So, on the box art, it says, Caddyshack meets the Mighty Ducks. Okay, so do yourself a favor and just watch those movies. It's definitely better of what this movie was. Also, so this is the official DVD of the movie, and the quality on it is just horrendous. It's worse than VHS. I don't know what went wrong when burning the disc. Despite that, it's definitely a 4 out of 5. No, that's just a little golf humor. Get it? 1 out of 5. Van Wilder. Never in my life did I think I'd be watching this again. I watched this movie in my last review video, and now I'm here, wasting even more of my time. I briefly went over it last time, so I'll pile on what I liked about it. It is in fact a decent comedy, but like I said previously, it's still a dated 2000s sex movie, and it hasn't really aged well. Last time I gave it a 3 out of 5, and I still stand by that. Replikate. This had no reason being as good as it was. It wasn't a perfect comedy, but I enjoyed watching it. 3 out of 5. Blackball. This is basically British Kingpin or even Talladega Nights. At least with this one, I felt the writing was a bit better compared to the other bad National Lampoon movies. 2.5 out of 5. Jake's Booty Call. Apparently the first feature-length movie made in Flash, and it's the usual sex comedy you'd expect. The animation really isn't that bad for the time, it's mainly just the writing. 2 out of 5. Thanksgiving Vacation. Nope. Thanksgiving Reunion. Remember that one Family Guy special when they crossed over with The Simpsons? Yeah, almost to a T. This movie is the exact same, even with the characters and the car being stolen. And do you also remember that the Family Guy special wasn't very good? Yeah, this is that movie. 1 out of 5. Christmas Vacation 2. I remember being shocked finding out that there's a sequel to Christmas Vacation. I found that out about 6 or so years ago, and when I watched it the first time, I was just disappointed, honestly. Upon rewatching it, some of the things I did like was seeing the man on the bike from European Vacation return. but that's about it. Having a whole movie dedicated to Cousin Eddie just doesn't work at all. It's like having a show about only Patrick Star. Oh, wait. But yeah, you need a contrast character for a goofy character like that, like Clark. That's why it works so well. Probably the worst Vacation. 1.5 out of 5. Gold Diggers. The only chance this movie had to redeem itself was...
Wow, your own theater. Very cool.
Our old man.
But it's not very cool indeed. 1 out of 5. Dorm Days. I don't even know what happened. I was just, like, in a daze because the plot was just all miscommunication. And it just got confusing and repetitive. 1.5 out of 5. The Almost Guys. I can never explain these movies right, but I like to call them empty movies. It's where the plot's kind of loose and they don't really do things that necessarily apply to the plot until the final act. It's not too bad, but nothing great. 2.5 out of 5. Barely Legal. It's honestly funny because it's bad. Barely Legal, more like barely funny. Boom. Gotcha. 1.5 out of 5. Going the Distance. This was a decent surprise for National Lampoons. A simple story comedy road trip thingy. 3 out of 5. Live and Dirty. So, the first guy had such a delayed and empty audience, I don't think he realizes that he isn't funny. The second girl was just yelling. The third guy was just doing impressions which weren't that good. The fourth guy was just really forgettable. I don't even remember what his jokes were about. And the last guy was just so determined to get a laugh out of the audience.
Candy. Give the kids a fucking candy. Give the kids a fucking candy. Buildings falling down, bombing poor countries, shuttles crashing, employment jobs, 401k. Who are you gonna vote for next time? Darth fucking Vader? Before I grow old, go to bed! Your mother's a chink! You're a black man! Everybody hold up mirrors. You're a black man! Look! Look at yourself! Well, out of time. What do you know? Time to take a shit. You've been too much. You've been a great fucking audience. Vince Vaughn.
He was, I'm not even kidding. He was going insane. He was yelling. He was going nuts at the audience. In all, none of them were that crazy funny. At best, a smile or a giggle. I'd watch it again just to see the last guy have a complete mental breakdown trying to tell jokes. 1 out of 5. Live international show. The first dude was a teacher that had a couple good cracks about students just being idiots. The second fella had a lot of racist jokes that just weren't that funny. Mr. Third Woman just obsesses over American men and sex. Apologies for no names, by the way. I don't feel like looking them up. It's not worth my time. The fourth guy was probably one of the best. He had some good jokes. The final guy was actually in Half Baked, which I reviewed in my other review video. He was pretty funny, just nothing special. Again, nothing special with this stand-up, but it was decent. 2 out of 5. New Faces. Honestly, these were not that bad. Some really decent jokes. Frank Caliendo was the host, who had repetitive but good impressions.
He's kind of like Frank Caliendo doing John Madden.
Rob wasn't anything special. Alonzo was one of the better stand-ups. Some good racist jokes. Bonnie, who is actually married to one of the hosts from the previous live shows, was, again, nothing special. Some decent ones here and there. The absolute star of the show was Gary Goldman. He was my favorite out of everyone. Shang was probably the second best in the show. Overall, nothing fantastic, but 2 of the guys were really good and everyone else had me crack a smile or two. 2.5 out of 5. New Faces 2. Frank returns as the host, and he's pretty good, just like the previous one. John had some homers here and there. Sam was my least favorite. I don't know. His jokes just didn't deliver very well. And this was an awesome surprise. Bert Kreischer. I'm not a huge fan of him, but I really liked his Netflix specials. Now, this appearance wasn't mind-blowing, but it was the better part of the show. Tess was next. I liked her a lot, but nothing I really laughed at. And finally, we had Steve Byrne, who, honestly, I thought was going to suck when he first got on stage, but despite his really, slow and bad start, he ended up being the second best of the show. 2.5 out of 5. Lost Reality. 1 out of 5. Mr. Wong. An incredibly racist and terribly animated show. I originally wasn't going to watch it because it's a TV show, but because it's on Letterboxd, I threw it in anyways. The theme song is sung by Davy Jones from the Monkees for some reason, but it is a really catchy theme song.
Kicking down the boulevard, so fun and fancy free.
Honestly speaking, the only time the show is funny is because of the really janky animation. 1 out of 5. Lost Reality 2. The money segment is actually kind of funny just because of the reactions of these people, but everything else was just a complete dumpster fire. 1 out of 5. Adam and Eve. This was more of a rom-com, if anything. It had a weird pattern, too. 10 minutes rom-com, 10 minutes frat boy humor. And that just kept repeating, like, on and off, on and off. And oddly enough, the rom-com bits were 10 times better than anything the comedy sections gave us. Still a bad movie, though. 1 out of 5. Teed Off. A bunch of golf gags with a really repetitive and annoying laugh track. And it just goes on and on for like a whole 30 minutes or so. Behind the Tees. I also watched this, and this was the reason I didn't want to review it. It's just a behind-the-scenes documentary. So I'm just going to include the score of it with the Teed Off score. A combined score of 1.5 out of 5 for both. David Leisure says best.
Hidden camera shows, if they're done really well, they're a lot of fun.
Teed Off 2. The same exact shtick from the first one, just some more golf gags that land in the hazard. 1.5 out of 5. Dorm Days 2. More coherent than the first movie, but still a mess of a movie. And I haven't talked about this much, but National Lampoon movies have so many cheap scenes with boobs and butt. It just gets so repetitive and tiring, and it's not needed whatsoever. 1.5 out of 5. Pledge This. You want to see something?
Oh, shit!
That sums up this movie. Just another bad college movie, but with Paris Hilton. 1 out of 5. The Great American Run. Let me tell a short little story. The only way to watch this movie is on DVD, and the only DVDs that I can find online are in Australia. So I paid a large shipping fee to have a DVD shipped from Australia, and then I opened the box and it's cracked. So that took about like a month. And then I waited a couple weeks, and then I ordered another copy from Australia, and it came up, fine. And the point of the story is that this was the last movie I watched in my binge. I didn't watch all the movies in chronological order. I wish I got my reaction. But can you imagine me when I hear this?
5 days and over 3,200 miles on the road, I've come to the conclusion that the real gifts of the Great American Run are the people, the places, and the passions that we've all encountered along the way.
What a coincidence. I mean, I swear to God, the last National Lampoon's movie, and they frickin' end it on, it's just the friends we made along the way. That is the most garbage thing ever. I had to pause the movie. I was so, oh my God. The movie itself, well, it was a documentary about a Cannonball Run trip across America. They say in the movie that's a low-budget DVD. So, was it good? I mean, I guess. If you like cars, it's cool. But there's nothing to really praise about it. It's just a DVD about racing across America. 2 out of 5. Cattle Call. I thought this was funny. National Lampoon's wanted to advertise their bad movies so much that they put posters of other Lampoon films in the movie. The film itself, though, is just really boring. 1 out of 5. Electric Apricot. It was alright. The thing with mockumentaries is that you really have to hit it right in the head or else it sucks. This one leans more towards the latter, and honestly, pretty forgettable. 2 out of 5. Pucked. A decent movie, actually, starring surprisingly Bon Jovi. And he's not that bad of an actor, actually. The movie especially made me smile in the last 40 minutes or so. 2.5 out of 5. Rise of Taj. I didn't expect too much from a sequel to Van Wilder. However, it was surprisingly decent. Taj is a fun main character, and he doesn't really have to play off of Van to be funny. Even though it's almost a copy and paste plot of the first movie, it's not too bad. 2.5 out of 5. Threshold of Hell. It was a decent idea for a movie, but it fell a bit flat. It had some really cool animation segments, and truthfully, I think it would have worked if the whole movie was animated like that. 2 out of 5. Homo erectus. So Gary Busey's in this. I can't imagine him accepting this role for a movie this bad. Maybe I can. It's so poorly written, and you can tell just no one wants to be there. 1 out of 5. Totally Baked. A mix of stand-up, drug informational satire skits, and some plot about a debate club dealing with hijackers. All of it's just really boring with really lame weed jokes. 0 out of 5. Bagboy. This movie was actually decent. The one bit that I enjoyed was that they attempted to connect the movie with Kingpin.
Thank you very much. You know, I've always been a lover of one-on-one competitive sports. For a long time, my passion was bowling. But after an unfortunate incident with an unscrupulous Amish bowler, I lost my taste for the game. You're not Amish, are you?
Not a bit.
I mean, I don't want this to be canon with Kingpin in any way, but I enjoyed the reference nonetheless. 2.5 out of 5. Hard 4. I was excited for this one, only because Vegas movies are usually a fun time. Of course, it was too good to be true. Terrible acting, bad jokes, and a slow-paced, awfully written story. Long story short, the same things we've seen 50 times already. And, riddle me this, how did Bryan Cranston end up here? 1 out of 5. Spring Break. A thing about boobs with a side plot with What's-His-Face and Diego in Las Vegas. 1 out of 5. TV the Movie. TV the Movie? More like, mundane, oral, it sucks hard. This was the one movie I almost considered not finishing. 0 out of 5. One Too Many. Listed on the cover says, the funniest movie by a late-night talk show announcer ever, Jay Leno. This is probably the worst thing you can say. Not only is it probably the only movie by a late-night talk show host announcer, but John Melendez was Jay Leno's announcer. It's just pity. 2 out of 5. Freshman Year. The actor that plays Van Wilder in this movie is just really trying his best to capture Ryan Reynolds' magic. I mean, Ryan was the best part of Van, and the actor that plays Taj was the best part about Rise of Taj, but the third movie just has nothing to love. 2 out of 5. So my stupid National Lampoon's package came in, and in the prologue before this review, I said I wasn't going to be reviewing Robodoc Dissected, the documentary of Robodoc. Well, I was looking in my pile. These are all combined. I didn't get all of these, just by the way. And there's Robodoc. Robodoc Dissected. I mean, I own it, so I might as well watch it. So, Robodoc. You know what's better than a spoof of a movie? The movie it was based off of. Just watch RoboCop. They dragged Michael Winslow in for a cameo, and even the dad from Wizards of Waverly Place? Okay.
The star of Growing Pains, David Faustino, star of Married with Children, David DeLuise, star of Wizards of Waverly Place, Michael Winslow, star of all the Police Academy films and others.
Robodoc Dissected. They attempted some comedy, but I was right about it being just bloopers. None of it really worked. But as a basic documentary, still not very good. Again, I'm going to combine it with the score of Robodoc. 1 out of 5. Transylmania. The third movie in the Dorm Days series, but with vampires. It brought back some of the same actors, and with those same actors comes a bad movie as well. 1 out of 5. Endless Bummer. A movie with Matthew Lillard and Joanne Jett. Off the bat, I just want to punch this scrawny mother pinker, and that's about it. The movie itself was, well, a bummer. The conclusion involved the main characters getting revenge, and it was almost satisfying, I guess. 1 out of 5. Dracula's Daughter. So this one caught me off guard, but then I remember during the 2000s, National Lampoons just kind of threw the brand name to random filmmakers. Apparently this was distributed by National Lampoon, but besides the website that hosts the shows saying they did, I can't find much more on it. In terms of whether it was good or not, I like the special effects. There's not much to say about it. It was a short film and it doesn't display a lot in terms of story. Neil Patrick Harris is in it though. 2 out of 5. Hotel Hell Vacation. Again, not a National Lampoon short, but it's part of the property. Many people don't like this one, but for a 15 or so minute short film about Clark and Ellen, it's really not that bad. And truthfully, this is the Vacation remake I would pay to see, not some poorly written Ed Helms film.
It's the Sparky Choo-Choo, and he's ready to roll.
3 out of 5. Sex Tax, a loosely based on a true story movie about the government taxing a whorehouse. Some parts I did enjoy, mainly the middle of the movie. It just kind of worked. But the ending half of the movie just sucked. Really, the whole thing sucked, but what I'm saying is that it's mediocre. 2 out of 5. Dirty Movie. This is only an hour and 30 minutes, but it actually felt like 6 hours long. 0 out of 5. Ratko. I have close to nothing to say about this one. It was just another bad college sex haha. The only thing I can remember really was Ratko repeating, "in the my country," and then following a really terrible Joker line.
In my country, where I come from, in my country, we have a saying. In my country...
1 out of 5. Awesomest Maximus. I really can't say much about this movie either. It's just bad. The writing, the comedy, and especially the green screen. It's just all bad. 1 out of 5. Snatched. This movie is just so stupid, but it's freaking hilarious. I think it's because a lot of the Lampoon movies suck, so I might have just been going insane. But at the time of watching this, I thought it was pretty funny. And it had a somewhat good message for the kiddos. Nothing special, though. The jokes I did laugh at were scattered throughout, so it wasn't really consistent. 3 out of 5. Night of the Little Dead. Another film by Ghostworks that made the previous short film. This one I liked a bit. It was a better time span than the 6-minute short film that was the other one. And the special effects in this one were just great. Remind me a lot of the 80s effects they had back in the day. Also, how did they get Adam Savage and Teller in this? That really shocked me. 3 out of 5. Another dirty movie. The only memorable part about this movie is that my main man Bob Saget shows up out of nowhere.
Mr. Saget, how would you like to be in my nephew's dirty joke movie?
Go fuck yourself. No, I don't want to be in your piece of shit movie.
1 out of 5. Vacation 2015. I know it's not a National Lampoon's movie, but let's just include it for the heck of it. This movie is horrible. It was just disappointing. Even worse, I saw this in theaters. It has some charm, but not much. 2 out of 5. And finally, probably the best way to end off the National Lampoon's movie review is a documentary talking about National Lampoon's. Now, I'm not sure if this is actually distributed by National Lampoon's, but it's included on the Wikipedia, so I'm just going to include it anyways. Drunk, Stoned, Brilliant, Dead, A Story of National Lampoon's. A really good documentary. Good pacing, great editing, and seeing some of my favorite celebrities talk about things like the old magazines, SNL, Caddyshack, John Belushi, Harold Ramis. It just made me appreciate what National Lampoon's once was. And of course, the ending song Holiday Road was a fantastic touch. 3.5 out of 5. And there you have it. That was the National Lampoon's movie review. I hope you guys enjoyed, if you even bothered watching it all. Now, I do want to say that I have a good portion of these movies on DVD and downloaded, so if you want the urge to watch some of them, let me know. I'll work something out and we'll send you the video file. Now, which one of these should you avoid and which ones you should watch? Except for 5, they honestly all suck. I'd of course watch the vacation movies, First Vacation, European, Christmas in Vegas. I'd throw in Animal House and Van Wilder. And that's pretty much it. Everything else is, like, worthless. It's garbage. National Lampoon's is a failed brand, and out of 70 or so movies, only 7 of them are good. This was honestly a waste of time of a binge watch. Again, like I said earlier, I am somewhat glad that I watched them all, but in the end, I could have been watching much better movies. Well, finally, I hope you guys enjoyed the 200th episode. Again, it wasn't anything special. I've been wanting to do this binge for a long time. I finally did it. And now we can move on to much better videos. And it really made me think. Maybe watching National Lampoon's was the friends we made along